Billionaires have lost millions of dollars, right? Millionaires have lost thousands of dollars. Thousandaires have lost hundreds of dollars, okay? Broke motherfuckers don't want to lose anything. Shut out all the noise, because you'll hear things your dad used to say to you and your grandma thinks about it, and like ask yourself a question and you'll start to hear everybody else's opinion. And if you really think about it and you run through whose opinion is that, who said that, you'll start to realize you're listening to everybody else but yourself. You know, what do you want, bro? And what do you think? Because again, everybody's afraid to think for themselves. So in all reality, I'm just now starting, that's why you started to see me get in shape again. See Big Dog Daddy B's getting the old freaking rocks going, because I'm about to get in the old studio and I need to be trim and slim and on point, because you can't talk shit unless you're freaking disciplined yourself, right? That's why I like to say nobody wants to listen to a fat trainer. Someone's like, what do you mean? You know, you've been into the gym before, right? Where the dude comes out and he's kind of fat, or even fat, straight up. I've seen fat trainers, and they're telling you how to work out. They got a clipboard. They're going to walk around and tell you what to do so you can be in shape. Like, I don't listen to them. It's not that they don't know what they're talking about. They may, but they don't do it. And if you don't do it, then shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it, okay? I want to hear it from someone who's doing it, okay? And by the way, I see the results with my eyes. See what I'm saying? Like, I see what you're doing, dog. I don't have to hear what you're doing. I see what you're doing. And guys, that's how you want to live, FYI. Now today, we're going to talk a little bit about urgency, you know, because there's people that don't have enough urgency in their life. You know what I'm saying? And you may be one of them. And the urgency is like, what are you doing when you get up every morning? What are your routines? What are your habits? Because to be kick-ass in sales, I'm telling you right now, you almost have to be, I don't want to say eccentric, but ultimately, man, you want to make sure that like your day's dialed out. Or dialed in. Dialed out and dialed in at the same time. And there's urgency involved. People don't walk with enough urgency. They don't step with enough urgency. Everything's kind of, you know, did you get a hold of so-and-so? Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've got on the phone, and I'm talking to them, and, you know, I'm kind of asking them what's going on. So what'd they say? Well, then they said this. Well, what'd you say? Well, I said this. And it's like, well, why would you say that? Why wouldn't you, like, what would make you think that? And it always went back to, this average pace. Dude, everybody that I know successful is freaking, there's some sense of urgency with them. You know what I mean? Like, everything's got a sense of urgency. You can't go through life with no sense of urgency. End of story. Like, listen, I could literally take everybody's money, tell them to come to a one-day event, and I'll teach everybody exactly how to double their income. I'd sell out tickets. They'd show up. I'd walk out on stage and say, shake more hands. Show's over. And deliver on my promise. Because if I promised how to double your income, the answer is shake more people's hands. Go out and introduce yourself to more people. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. Point blank, period. It isn't more complicated than that. A lot of people want you to believe that it's more complicated than that, but it isn't. Okay, it's you shake more hands, you make more money. If someone had the work ethic, like Desmond was saying, and went out and implemented the shit, you know, they will have made more money than not doing this shit. But when it boils down to it, it's not rocket science. Like, freaking more hands you shake, more money you make, dude. That's it. So like, it's the craziest thing. That's as simple as it gets. Like, you go meet a whole bunch more people, and you're gonna get a whole bunch more business. Now, if you're like, well, I went out and did it, Brad, and it didn't work. I've never met anyone that's ever said that to me. Everyone that ever did what I tell them to do is winning. And back to your question, Galki, who do I hang with? Because, like, I didn't help get Grant started. Grant was already started when I met him. He was just doing it live and like everybody else. He didn't have any online presence whatsoever. So I helped him grow a brand and build an online product that could be accessed worldwide, and helped him blow up into what he is today. But I didn't get him started. He was already started. And then Andy Elliott, same thing. I mean, Andy Elliott's already, he was already selling car businesses, but he wasn't training, solar guys and real estate. Like in other words, I'm helping him to expand the picture a little bit. I'm putting him on in front of the right people. And he's doing the work though, but Andy's Andy. I mean, he's good. Like, not everybody's cup of tea, but Andy's good. So it's like, dude, I don't mind bringing Andy in here and letting him, spray on you. But again, what's Andy going to say if I called him in here right now? What are you guys doing? What are you doing? The world is average. We're competing against average people, folks. It's so easy out there. I can't even believe we're not rocking it. We should want to do that for our families, for our wives. What are you doing? You have to get up and you have to want it. That's like motivational shit. Now, when it comes down to here's what to say, Andy's got word tracks, dude. And his word tracks are pretty strong. Now, what are my word tracks? Has anyone ever heard my word tracks? Yes or no? Put your thumb up if you've heard my word tracks. Brock Wooten says he's heard my word tracks. Well, then what are my word tracks? Give me some of them.
Something about if my the if word track. If my I believe it's like if my aunt had balls, he'd be my uncle or something like that. Pretty sure that's one of your word tracks.
When do you say that? At what point in the sale do you say that?
Probably in the close.
See what I'm saying? You're just being funny because what the saying is, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Okay,
Yeah.
but nowadays that's not so true. Okay, if my aunt had balls, it could just be my aunt still.
I guess that's true. Depends on what area you're in.
Yeah, but I switched it because I switched it because of the climate of today. So now it's if a frog had wings, it wouldn't thump its ass when it hopped. But still, like if I could close. Some people say, "Oh my God, that's so stupid and old school." If I could, would you? If I could, would you? We've all heard "if I could, would you?" Correct? Again, if you guys were like shaking your heads, no, I never heard that. I'm thinking, damn, I'm getting old. Like the shit I used to freaking learn is so old school now is fucking new again. I'm bringing back sexy. But in reality, if I could, would you? Dude, it still works. Okay? I don't give a shit what anyone tells you, dude. If I could, would you people all day long, and it works. So if I could do this and that and the other thing, then, would you do this, that, and the other thing? Well, yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it if you could do this, that, and the other thing. But the question is can you do it? Well, that's where people get themselves in trouble because if I could, some ridiculous thing, like if I could pay off the car for you for free and send your wife to Tahiti and get you 2 more houses, would you buy the car? That costs more than the car. How are you going to do that? Well, I just wanted to if I could them. No, dude, you got to if I could, would you intelligently. But are there newer and better ways to do it? Yes, I believe there is. And why? Well, because number one, the advent of the internet. Customers know more about the product that you're selling than you do. There are customers that are asking you product knowledge questions to see if you'll fucking lie. Remember that next time you answer a question. Remember that it's very easy to simply say, that is a great question. Let me get with the team and get back with you. Why? That's the equivalent of I don't know. But do you know how many salespeople will say I don't know? They're afraid to. Why? Well, because they've been taught they need to be the expert. They need to be in the position of expertise. They better have an answer. Well, dude, an incorrect answer is worse than no answer. You hear what I said? Write that down. An incorrect answer is worse than no answer. So you don't give an answer if you don't have the fucking answer. Like, again, to me, that's common sense. But believe it or not, that will improve your sales game. Why? Because people are sometimes, especially nowadays with the advent of the internet and all the things that they're down, the research they can do without you, they're calling you and it's like, well, tell me, Desmond, How many horsepower does it have? And if you're like, you know, oh, it's got 444 horsepower, and they're thinking in their head, dude, it's got 383. This guy don't know what the fuck he's talking about. You just lost trust. And the second you lose trust, dude, you're going to lose dollars. So if that's the truth, well, then don't you think it might be wise to start figuring out how to quickly build trust? And what's crazy is one of the ways to build trust is to tell the truth. Huh? Is that a novel idea?
There's your next seminar right there.
I know, but you ever think about that? Like, you know, what'd you do? Well, I told them to tell the truth, and their sales went up. What? Yeah, because someone thought that they had to have an answer when they didn't. Somebody didn't realize that relationships are the key. Somebody didn't realize that they needed to study and learn and progress and develop while they're not on the job. But when you boil it down, it's pretty simple shit. Austin.
Yeah, so I know you say you like figure out what you want and then.
Hey, and just out of curiosity, before you answer your question, you know, is that if I'm a customer talking to you, is this how you sit?
Yeah, is it a little slumpy?
Yeah, way slumpy.
Way too slumpy?
Yeah, like I'd sit up straight, right? Exactly. Like I'd sit up and I'd come interested to the conversation. You know, if you're pitching me and I'm back here going, what do you think how does that look?
Yeah, not too great.
Yeah, and again, it's like if I were you guys and I'm selling online like Austin is, dude, I'd be popped up here. Not to mention, I would frame your background, dude. Like you see this little neon light right here?
Yeah.
How cool does that fucking look?
Pretty badass.
Yeah. Now turn around and look at your wall.
No red light.
Dude, all you'd need is a fucking bookshelf. Like, look at Desmond. Like, he looks like a fucking millionaire CEO. All he did is bought a goddamn bookshelf and a plant. And if I were him, I'd move the plant away from the bookshelf because it doesn't look right there. But that's beside the point. He's framing. He likes the way it looks behind him. Am I lying?
That's a fact. Gotta look good, man. Gotta look good.
And dude, who told you that a long time ago? Remember?
Good old BL.
And it worked too, didn't it? Jenna was crying one day because you were saying something about, I forget what you were saying, but old Jenna was tearing up over it.
I'm a sucker for Desmond, that's for sure.
This is like 30 years ago.
I put the work in. That's the only difference. I put the work in, you know? Like you said, do the work. That's it.
Yeah, but again, like look at Yash. Like Yash, you sell online? Yash, where'd you go? There you are. Do you sell online?
Yep.
Okay, so again, dude, like take a minute. You got just a solid white background, which again ain't bad. And again, his ain't bad. Looks like he's got a couple of whiteboards up there. But I can tell you're in some sort of room. Looks like maybe even a house. Like, are you in your house? Okay, well then, again, am I going to trust somebody in their house? Believe it or not, dude, no, I'm not going to trust. Is like you're going to trust somebody in their office way more than you're going to trust somebody in their house. You're going to trust somebody in the studio. That's why you guys said that studio looks more professional. Dude, look at that shit. What the fuck's going on there? But anyway, you look more professional in the studio. Why? Because it looks a little more professional. It looks like, oh, damn, that's what this dude does. That's what he is. Worst case scenario, you leave it like you got it there. But like even if you can't afford a bunch of shit, look at Galki's background. Like that's just a fake background.
It is and it isn't. So watch this.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
it didn't cost you $1 million, dude. You went and got some brick facade. Looks cool as shit. Now he's got a background. And again,
I put in for Austin that you and Renee did that one whole episode on Closer School about how to set up your Zoom right, like the background to have, lighting, and everything. So go back, Austin, and watch that one for sure.
All right.
Yeah, but this is only if you're selling online, guys. You don't like it doesn't matter if you're not selling online. Like if you're not in Zooms every day talking and selling, forget what I'm saying. But from your posture, you know, kicking back like you don't really care. Yeah, we can get that product out to you. You know, no, you're up here. You're looking at the camera. The camera is the person's eyes. Okay, you cannot look in their eyes. Like when I look at Brian Galke's eyes, I'm looking right here, and that's not at his eyes. If you guys are looking at me, it doesn't look like I'm looking in your face, does it? But as soon as I go like this, now I can't see Galke as well because he's down here to the lower left where I used to be looking. But now I'm looking right at you, Galke, and when I'm talking to you, guess what I'm doing? I'm building a connection. I'm building trust. But most people don't do this. They do this, which is the same as being a shifty-eyed bastard. Don't be a shifty-eyed bastard. Don't be a laid-back, slouchy, who gives a shit fella. Like, when you're selling online, dude, go get your frame right. Make sure your background looks as good as it can look. Get the right and proper microphone like you got there. Sound crisp, sound clear. Make sure your lighting's right. Don't be one of those ominous figures sitting in a room that's like poorly lit, you know? I hate when I talk to people and I got a meeting and I see them in their fucking car. Like, dude, don't we have a meeting? Well, yeah, I'm talking to you. You're in your car, dick. Which means you're on your way somewhere. So, like, this ain't stopping you. You're doing this while you're driving to someplace more important.
That's the word.
It just doesn't look right. Doesn't look professional. And, like, look at Diana. That looks nice. She's outside. Looks like she's around a nice building. But she doesn't look like she's freaking sitting here trying to close my ass. That's for damn sure. You know, out of all the backgrounds here that look like someone's trying to close, again, I'm going with Desmond. I'm going with Brian. You know, maybe even Patriot, because Patriot looks like he's in an office of some kind. You know, if I were him, though, I would just set up and frame it right, because your frame, bro, listen, when you stand up like this, you don't want much room up above your head. Sit up straight and look. Watch. Okay? You still got too much room above your head. You see what I'm saying? So when you lay back, you really got too much space above your head.
Appointments, meetings are standing, so hang on.
You do standing meetings?
Yeah.
He's showing us that he's got the fancy Verizon desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like right there, when you got a desk like that, dude, you can say, okay, I want it framed just like this. You want a little bit of space above your head. That's it. That's it. Not a bunch. Like look at Austin's space above his head. That's too much space. Okay, Desmond, you still got a little too much space in between your head, just a little bit. Like, dude, like zoom in or get a little closer. Yeah, that's better. That's better. See that little tiny bit he moved is better. But that's what I mean by framing. You're framing like I should scoot over if I were in the, because you don't want to be like this either. You know, you don't want to be like this. Like, why? Because, dude, come on, man. Bam. And then when you're talking to people, you're talking to them, man. That camera is you. If I'm talking to freaking somebody about closing them on their house and their solar, I'm looking at them like this. Even though it's awkward to look at the camera like it's an actual individual. But if I was sitting here talking to my customer and this was the wife and this was the customer, I mean the husband and this was the wife, you know, I'd be looking at the husband as I'm talking about things. I'm doing like this. I'm using my hands. I'm making sure the tonality and the inflection matches everything I'm saying, right? With the same enthusiasm that needs to come across and or certainty, because really sales is just transferring certainty. And then I might look at the wife with a eyebrow raise and a little, she knows, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that personal connection. And by the way, like look at Darren's lighting. Tell Darren what his lighting looks like right now. It looks like, dude, is that guy a criminal? Who is that guy? Hark, who is that sinister one that goes there? Hark, who goes there, Darren? Okay, go get yourself a $10 light if you have to. Stick it on the other side. Turn that bitch on and light your damn face up. And then Daniel Feldman, the window behind you, terrible. Terrible. Watch him if he just turns around and lets the light from the window shine in his face. Watch the difference. No, just turn around. Just pick up the laptop. Don't you have a laptop? Pick it up now. Turn around so you're facing the window.
Do a 180.
Yeah, even if you have to stand. See, how much better is that lighting right there? And all he did is got rid of a bright light that was washing out the whole picture. See what I'm saying? So anyway, you guys take it for what you will. All I'm saying is, trust me when I tell you, if you're selling online, you got to represent yourself professionally as you can. That includes lighting, sound, looking at them in their eyes, and framing your background. And also, again, I would add my name and phone number in your Zoom name. So right now it says Darren Ralston. I'd rather see your phone number, Darren Ralston, and your phone number, which you can add your phone number in there. Why? Well, because, dude, if I'm staring at your phone number, I don't say, what's your number? So anyway, there's a little tidbit on that. So what else? What was the question? Oh yeah, Galka said, so who do I hang with? I helped Cardone. I'm helping Andy Elliott. Who did I hang with when I started? Well, I hung with them all. I hung with all the people that I was working with. So Zig Ziglar, I got to spend a little bit of time with, but mainly, Grant Cardone, Joe Verdi, Alan Ram, Tom Stuker. Remember Tom Stuker? Anybody remember Tom Stuker? Dude, that dude was a big sales trainer for a while. But I don't get your question. Who did I hang with?
No, who did you decide you wanted to align yourself with to help grow your brand while you were helping them at the same time? So I
haven't aligned with anybody to help grow my brand yet. Because again, I would say Grant, because again, I kind of aligned with Grant for a little while because, and that's how literally I started getting followers in the first place, was Grant and that attention that he brought. So that kind of started people coming my way. But, I aligned myself, I think I aligned myself with my brands, meaning I aligned myself with Real, I aligned myself with Lightspeed, I aligned myself with my own brands. Now, if I could align myself with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, well, fuck yeah, that'd help me big. But you got to worry about who can help you, not hurt you. Because believe it or not, you guys, your reputation's critical. Because again, it boils back down to trust. So who you hang out with is going to kind of determine whether. See, again, Daniel don't give a fuck about lighting. He just said, "Fuck that, I'm sitting the way I want to." But that's because we're here. By the way, I'm not a customer. He ain't trying to close me. But just be aware, dude. Just be aware is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't care if you're in your sweats, laying back, sitting down. I don't care, because to me, we're just sitting here talking. But if I'm buying from you and I see you guys like I see, I'm like, oh, shit, better tell them. Just like people that don't turn their cameras on, fucking hate that. But at the end of the day, I really don't care. Why? Because I don't care. This is informal. A lot of people are doing some shit, like sitting on the toilet they don't want us to see. All right, so anyway, Galki, I hope that answers it, but I don't really know if it did or not.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like I said, I see you get invited to a lot of things. Like you're going to be here in Dallas this week, speaking with Stuman. Like I said, you bring on Renee, other people. That's why I know one thing I'm missing is other people's audiences. Like, obviously, for me, Janine is probably the best one that I've met so far in terms of we do.
Oh, well, you're talking about you, dude. You don't talk about me. Talk about you. What should you do to align yourself with everybody, dude? Again, I turn you on to people that I know. Sometimes when people say, "Hey, do you know anybody that has interesting such and such?" I can start saying, Brian Galki, more often. But if I were you, I would try to get on every stage, every podcast.
Yeah, I'll be back out there in July. I've been trying to work on Stuman through Steve because he came to Steve's event, and then help him repost his event. I'm taking another gig out there in Vegas in July 5th through the 7th because at this point, I'm all about exposure. Just like you said, the more hands you shake. And, if I can make it work and it's not a loss for me.
Dude, what you need to do, if you want to make a bunch of money, is create a program that has virtual training, obviously, is the core, which would then lead to more access to group, right? And then that would lead to more one-on-one consulting and mastermind / live event status. So, and you just try, kind of like Renee Rodriguez does.
I was getting ready to ask, he just started putting together a Facebook group that's pretty active. That's something I'm missing right now, for sure.
Yeah, and dude, what you do is you just breed a whole audience that wants to, learn subtle skills. And again, subtle skills is kind of a word play. Sometimes I'll say he reads faces, and then someone corrects me, no, it's eyebrows. And it's like, well, dude, there's a whole face there. It's not just an eyebrow. But
eyebrows are the easy one for people to learn. But yeah, so if you go to learn to read faces, I have a shit ton of URLs that redirect back to my website. Decode the face.
Yeah, so dude, right now, dude, if you were to spend money on advertising, you'd be amazed. Now, if I said to you, Brian, how much money did you spend on advertising subtle skills last month? What's your answer?
$1,200. It wasn't much.
Okay, so there you go. Desmond, how much did you say you spent?
I spent about $160 last month.
Now, again, I know what you're thinking, Brian. Well, he's got the $160 to spend. Dude, that's why.
American Express, man. That car.
I know, but I'm telling you, he didn't start out that way. But he did start with some balls on the line. How much did you start with? You say 10 grand?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, like, dude, to me, if you're not doing $100 a day, the algorithm ain't gonna do much for you. So $100 a day is $3 grand a month. $1,200 a month, that's like freaking $40 a day. And if you're like, no, I do $100 a day, but I only do it for the first week of the month. See, again, dude, that's a digital handshake, Brian. You need to spend so much money as long as it's being returned. Again, you don't want to spend all your money and then now you're broke.
Yeah.
And the reason you'd spend all your money and then go broke is because you didn't get a ROAS, a ROAS, a return on ad spend. So if I can spend $10,000 and get back $10,000, then I didn't lose anything. Now people are like, well, I didn't gain anything either. That's not true. You gained recognition, you gained credibility, because sometimes people need to see you 4 or 5 times before they buy anything. Right. You need to build credibility, and they need to keep seeing you pop up, and then maybe the 9th time they actually buy something. So you think you got nothing because nobody bought directly from that, but that's not true. You built brand equity. So 10,000, get back 10,000 is better than 1,200 and get back 1,500. Why? Because dude, I'd rather spend 10 grand and be more omnipresent. And in reality, I'd like to get to $100,000 a month minimum. Like, I think if you're not spending $100,000 a month advertising your business, and by the way, this is a closer call, not necessarily a business call, but sales is business at the same time anyway. But if you're not spending 100 grand a month on your business, you don't really have a business. You have a side hustle.
Right.
So right now, Desmond's, graduated to a business. You're still side hustling.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get out of the side hustle? We grab onto the huevos. Is that what we'd say, Jaime? We'd grab the huevos, and we'd go, I'm going to spend about 10, 20 G's I ain't got. Yee! Now, would I recommend that? Again, everybody's circumstances are different, so I can't say yes. I don't know if you got kids to feed. I don't know what bills you got. But theoretically, I would say yes. Why? Because I know if you don't do it, what's going to happen?
You will make no money.
What's that?
Yeah.
You will make that much money.
Zero.
That's what I'm saying. So I already know the answer, but again, I don't want to tell someone, yeah, man, put it all out on the line. You put it on the line, now you're broke, can't feed your kid, no formula, your wife gets pissed, now you're divorced, blaming Brad Lee. Like, don't blame me. All I'm telling you is look at your advertising budget. When you say it's $1,200 a month, again, dude, write this down. Pay attention. Billionaires have lost millions of dollars. Right? Millionaires have lost thousands of dollars. Thousandaires have lost hundreds of dollars. Okay? Broke motherfuckers don't want to lose anything.
How's a bomb?
There's your content.
Yeah. Well, in your story about you signed the lease for Lightspeed when you didn't have the money for it is pretty inspiring. And
I wrote a check to a building for, I forget, let's say first month, and it wasn't cheap. I didn't have the money.
I did the same thing like you told me to. I got the office space that I signed. It was 5Gs a month. I was like, bruh, man, I got 5Gs for my apartment, 5Gs for the rent, my car. Damn. But I signed it anyways. And then I said, I got people in here. So I started hiring people like crazy. Now I need more space now.
Yeah, now a lot of people will say, Brad, more people are going to fail with that formula than win. So Desmond just got lucky. Guys, I don't know what to tell you other than my own experience. So back in my day, I bought shit I couldn't afford, theoretically, and I always afforded it because it pushed me. That's all. So again, if nice things and a looming car payment doesn't push you, well then don't get yourself a big old car payment. But for me, a big ass car payment, that pushed me. Why? I don't want my car gone. And when my car was up for repo, which building Lightspeed, a few times it was up for repo. I was like 90 days down on my car payment, man. And if they saw it, they'd get it. So I had to hide it and shit. I had to freaking keep it away from the house. And dude, it was an inconvenience until I could get paid. Then I'd get paid and I'd run down and catch them up and be like, okay, woo. Thank God they didn't find it. Because how embarrassing would it be walking out with your girl and your car was towed? And you're like, what happened? Dude, you didn't make your payment, you deadbeat. Austin.
Yeah, so you say, figure out what you want, see who did it, ask them how they did it, and do the work. Do you have any tips around how to figure out what you want?
Dude, that's a good question. And let me tell you something, that's the hardest thing. And yeah, the only tip I have, dude, is you got to freaking literally shut out all the noise. Because you'll hear things your dad used to say to you and your grandma thinks about it, and like ask yourself a question and you'll start to hear everybody else's opinion. And if you really think about it and you run through whose opinion is that, who said that, you'll start to realize you're listening to everybody else but yourself. You know, what do you want, bro? And what do you think? Because again, everybody's afraid to think for themselves. If I think for myself and I'm wrong, I'm going to look like a jerk. I'm going to look like a loser. I'm going to be so embarrassed. I'll never be able to show my face again. Because you were wrong? Because you failed? You're embarrassed because you failed? I'd be embarrassed for not trying. I'd be embarrassed if I didn't try at all because I was afraid to fail. I'd be more embarrassed of not trying.
I have a strategy for that, if you want me sharing. What I do is I think about what I want when I'm 60 years old, 60, 70, and I reverse engineer it to where I am now and ask myself, okay, if I want this at 60, at 50 I should be at this part, at 40 I should be at 30 I should be here, and now I am here now. Let's now do the work to do that. If the work is way too much, then adjust the goal for 60 so that your actions today match what you want at 60, and then just reverse engineer that. And naturally, once you decide that picture at 60, that's what you really want when you're older. So start doing the actions now, which will eventually get you to where you want to be at 60. That's a very simple way to think about it, you know?
Yeah, basically found your 60-year-old self and see how it is. Got it. Cool. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah, but dude, listen, I mean, it really boils down to quieting the world, you know, and spending a lot of time thinking, which, believe it or not, most people don't do. You know, they get interrupted from a phone call. They want to go watch their show. A text comes through. Like, they don't spend quality time thinking. You know, I know people that are very, very, very successful, and they literally set thinking time aside, where they say, I'm going to think for an hour. You know, nothing else. They shut their door. Nobody can bother them, and they're just thinking. So again, that is my hack for finding out what you really want, because you got to think, man. Everybody's not the same, and you all have different opinions on things. You know, like, for example, everybody thinks, you know, oh, you want to spend all the time in the world with your children. You know, not if the children are annoying. Okay, if your children are annoying, you don't want to spend no time with them. And then you feel guilty because everyone thinks you should want to spend time with your children. Well, nobody said unless they're assholes, unless they're little spoiled, screaming, whiny brats. Then you don't need to enjoy. You need to fix your child. You need to raise them better. See, like, no one puts you in the, society thinks I got to spend all this time with my kids. but I don't really like to because it's aggravating and I get annoyed so easily. And, you know, I'm the problem. When in reality, no, your kid's the problem. Okay? So now you got to go change the focus of, you know, what you want, because what you want is to get along with your kids. Okay, good. So what do you got to do to get along with your kids? Because obviously, dude, if you sat there and thought about it and you had kids, you'd be like, well, of course I want to get along with my kids. Okay, so what do you got to do? Jordan Peterson says it. You cannot allow your kids to do shit that makes you dislike them. So when your kid's doing something that you're not going to like them, well, then you stop them from that. Why? Because you should not allow your kid to do anything that will cause you not to like them. And then now people say, well, that's how you parent. That's exactly how you parent. And hopefully you're a good person and you're doing the right thing, because, you know, some of that shit could borderline child abuse. Like, again, I mean, spanking a kid, if I had little boys, I'd spank them. But I got little girls and I can't spank little girls. Like, they're freaking, I can threaten them though sometimes. And when I threaten them, boy, they straighten right up and listen and do what they're told. I've never hit them though. But when people say, oh, you believe in spanking? Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with spanking a kid. Why? Because I got spanked and it worked. That's why. Like, I did not want a belt across my ass. And I got one if I messed up. So guess what I didn't do a lot because of? I didn't mess up a lot. Why? Because I didn't want my ass beat with a belt. Because I had to do something wrong to get that to happen. So guess what? You stop doing things wrong. Well, what is wrong? According to my dad. According to my dad, that was wrong. According to society, was it wrong? I don't know. But my dad was one of those children should be seen and not heard dads. Meaning he didn't really mind if you're around as long as you were quiet and respectful. As soon as you got loud and obnoxious, he would tell you to quiet down. And if you didn't quiet down, after 2 or 3 times of him telling you to quiet down, off came the belt. If the belt going whoosh didn't quiet you down, oh boy, you're about to get your ass beat for about, I don't know, I'd say a good 30 seconds. It's going in a circle. You guys been there? No. Everybody been there? No. Yeah. And guess what? It worked fine. Okay, it worked fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Now, again, there's a fine line between abuse. Like, how hard are you hitting? Are you trying to inflict damage, or are you trying to freaking get them to wake up? Which is why I've never had to hit my little girls with a belt. I've never had to, because when it comes off, that they don't. That's it. They're perfect. That's why I like to spend time with my family. Like, again, everybody always says, Brad, who do you hang around? Who are your best friends? Realistically, I don't hang around anybody. Which, again, I kind of want to. But there's, like, you know, I'd rather go home and spend time with my kids. Why? Well, because I like them. Why? Because I don't allow them to do the shit I don't like, even though they still do. But that's called parenting. But I mitigate it. And by the way, I started cold plunging this morning. Anybody cold plunge? How you like it?
It's cold.
No, you cold plunge on a regular basis or no?
Worst thing in the world.
It's the worst thing in the world?
I think so.
Who's saying that?
Yeah, I think
Especially in the winter, man. In the summer, easy.
Hold on. Who's saying that?
Darren.
You said it's the worst thing in the world?
Just about. Yeah.
Do you do it every day? Do you do it every day?
No, usually 2 or 3 times a week. 42 degrees.
Well, again, number one, the studies show that it's not the cold that matters. You could have been 55 degrees.
It's the length too. So it just depends on how long you want to spend in there as well to get the result you want. But dude, the biggest thing on cold plunging to me is just quieting the bitch mind, you know?
Well, like this morning,
confront that.
This morning, someone said, when are you getting in? I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to. They're like, come on, dude, tell me a time so we can keep you dedicated. I said, dude, I'm not committing because I might not. So, and why? Because I don't get peer pressure. Like, I don't care what you think, whether I did or didn't do it. Like, I don't need everybody else's opinion of me that I'm cool I know I'm cool, whether I cold plunge or not. So it's like,
Try cryo yet?
no, but I said, I'll do my own thing. So I got up this morning, and then I'm like, let me see what the temperature is. It was 52 degrees. And I'm like, well, that's cold enough because all you have to be is 55 degrees. Or 59. They say 39 from 59, you're going to get the same effect. But anyway, cold water's cold water, bro. I mean, when you're taking your breath away, it'll take your breath away at 52 just like it will 48. You know, and by the way, 39, it feels almost just as cold. It just coldens you quicker. So it's like, to me, I want to keep it probably around 55. Now, if someone tells me I'm wrong, well, then I'll change it. But 55 was all I did this morning, or 52.89 is what the thermometer said. 52, 53.
How long are you in for?
4.5 minutes.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If you're in it for like 5 minutes at 55, you're 100% right. I love being able to get it in 2-3 minutes and get the same effect. But it's just the shock you want, man.
Well,
but
dude, I just sat there. Once I got past the breathing, you know, everything else wasn't that bad. And then when I got out, you kind of feel a little lethargic with your body, and like the fingertips hurt a little bit, you know, from being froze. But they said, you know, oh, it's going to be like you did a line of Coke, bro. And I'm like, you must never have done Coke, bro. Because a cold plunge doesn't feel like doing a line of Coke. That's for damn sure. Because that's what made me do it. I'm thinking, shit, if a cold plunge makes me feel like I just did a line of Coke, shit, I'm a cold plunge every 3 hours. Wouldn't that feel good all day long, just feeling like you did a big old line? Because, dude, doing a line makes you feel good. It's just after a while, you're not going to feel very good. Like, in other words, I would recommend nobody ever in the history of the life does Coke, because I've never seen anybody do Coke and succeed. Now, people can say, I know someone who's successful and they do Coke. I'll bet you keep watching them, they won't be. I bet you keep watching them, they will not be. You cannot do cocaine and be successful, period. And by the way, someone says, what about weed? Weed's a different story. I think you could get stoned all the time and be successful still. But Coke, you cannot. You cannot be an addicted cokehead and not have it damage you physically, mentally, financially, every way. It's just no good. I'd give it up. And if you guys are thinking, oh my God, is he talking to me? I don't know. Are you a cokehead? If you are, then yeah, I'm talking to you. Now, people say, well, were you a cokehead, Brad? No, I wasn't a cokehead, but I was a curious individual that tried shit. And then looking back, it's like if I knew what I knew now, when someone wanted me to try Coke back then, would I have done it? Probably. I just wouldn't have done so much of it. Why? Well, I mean, shit, it's okay to feel it once, just like acid. You know? I recommend everybody does a hit of acid once in a while. Not once you get past a certain age, though. That's when you shut her down. It's over with. Feldman, you're done. I'm done. Jaime, we're done. Okay? Now, people are like, Brad, you're advocating drugs. No, I'm not. I'm advocating experiences. Okay? And at the end of the day, getting my ass beat with a belt when I was a kid did put discipline into my life. So that's why I'm not against spanking kids. Although I've never spanked my kids, I'm not against it. Now, some people say, you don't have to spank your kids. You should talk to them like adults. I would say, well, you should come talk to these kids then. Because if you got some magical fucking way of talking to kids that no one taught me, okay, I'll be happy to listen. Because I'd sure love to talk my way into going to bed. You know, or talk my way into not fighting and hitting each other. But, you know, well, that's just that's just sibling rivalry. Okay, well, I don't like that shit. Now, how do I know I don't like it? And this goes back to asking the question, Austin, how do you know what you want? Dude, you got to think about it. I know I don't want a bunch of arguing bullshit and drama in my life. If you are an arguing, complaining, dramatic person, I will eliminate you. Now, again, be honest, because they're not on the call, but be honest. Raise your hand if you've got anybody around you that's kind of negative, kind of a drag. Now see, there's 2 honest people, because I'll bet you more than that do. You're just not raising your hand. There's another honest one. There's another honest one. At the end of the day, the reason you have those people in your life is part of the reason you're not where you want to be. So now you got to ask yourself a question. Are you more important than them? Because you might have been raised to think not. Who are you? You're not very important. We're supposed to remain humble. You know, we're not supposed to think we're better than other people, more deserving of other people. See, I don't subscribe to that. I think all people are born equal, but they do not stay that way. There's some people that learn and develop and grow, and they literally become better than other people. So are there people better than other people? Absolutely there are. There's people with more integrity than others. There's people with more ethics than others. And in my opinion, those are better people than the cheats and the liars and the thieves. They're better people. Oh, we're not better than anybody. Yes, we are better than people. Again, it depends on your standards. It depends on your belief system. Now, from an equal standpoint, I don't think I'm a better human being than other people, right? Like, in other words, I don't look at myself and be like, I'm better than all of you. Even if I have more money than somebody, I don't think I'm better than them. I got to know who the people are first, okay? And once I know that you're a lying piece of shit cheater, right? Or you know, again, being weak and weak-minded, that doesn't make me think you're a bad person, technically, because people don't know any better. You know, I've met a lot of weak-minded people that have strengthened their minds and became somebody. I'm one of them. I didn't always walk around with true confidence, and I certainly didn't walk around with ethics and integrity my whole life. So now I pride myself on ethics and integrity. The reason why I won't cheat on my girl is not because, you know, I'm a simp. Okay, the reason I won't cheat on my girl is because it's not cheating on my girl. It's cheating on me. You guys see the difference? If I cheat on my girl, like most guys do, and again, guys can get mad at me for saying this, but most of y'all are cheating motherfuckers. I won't cheat. Why? Because I wouldn't be cheating on her. I'd be cheating on me. And dude, that will tear down my confidence. That will chip away at my self-esteem. That'll make me think I'm worth less. Not worthless, worth less. I don't want to be worth less. I want to be worth more. So what do? Well, we make good choices and we become more valuable to ourselves and others. My wife can sleep sound knowing that she won't be cheated on, right? Now again, I may come home one day and she's sleeping with the neighbor. Why? Because I was gone too much. Who knows why? I don't know that that's the case with her necessarily. She says it's the case. I trust her that that's the case. But if I ever go home and find her with a mouthful, guess what? Hey, I'm not surprised. That's what people do. But guess who's walking out with a big smile like, dude, now I'm going to go find a better one. A better one. Why? Well, because a better one wouldn't do that. So now when I go find a better one, I can say, dude, I upgraded. So now when I look back and find out she's having 6 or 7 different freaking boyfriends and running around town, I'm not sitting there all butthurt and crying because freaking my girl's having fun without me. Why? Because, dude, my girl's going to go get cheated on more than likely. My girl's just going to go find less than me. Why? Because most guys cheat. That's why. It's not often you're going to find a guy that will not cheat on you. It's truth. It's truth. Now, does that make me better than other people? Well, not like, again, not as a basketball player. Doesn't make me a better basketball player. Doesn't make me better at fishing. But does it make me a more quality individual? In my opinion, the answer is yes. But that's my opinion. Why? Because I've sat and thought about it for hours and I've really thought about it. Because again, I mean, like, dude, listen, have I cheated? Yes. Do I cheat? No. Because I've learned, I've grown, I've developed. Making mistakes is one thing. Continuing to make the same mistake is where you become an idiot. You know, like I tell people around here, listen, you can make mistakes. It doesn't bother me. Okay. What bothers me is making the same mistake over and over and over. That shows me that you're a fucking idiot. And I don't let idiots remain around me because pretty soon you're the average of what you hang around. So I don't want idiots around me. I don't want negative people around me. I don't want liars and cheaters and backstabbers and shit. Now, again, some of them creep in and they find their way in anyway because they're slick. And then you discover them one day. When they freaking stole from you or when this happened. Guess what? You don't sit there and cry and whine and bitch and become a whining, complaining bitch like they are. You simply eliminate them and go, yes, I got one less bitch around me. I got one less troll around me. And if you can get rid of all the negative people and all the trolls and all the scumbags and all the thieves and liars, and dude, you're winning. You'll be surrounded by the right people, all the right people, dude. And let me tell you guys something. The reason you don't have what you want is because you don't know who you need to know. So you got to keep meeting people. And one day you're going to be like, damn, dude, Brad Lee was correct. He told me that the reason I didn't have everything I wanted was because I didn't know the right people. Because if I knew the right people, I'd have everything I want. So I got to get busy meeting people, finding the right people, nurturing the right people to where this is a true statement. And pretty soon you're weeding out the negative. You're weeding out the thieves and cheaters and liars and energy vampires. And you're left with people that are positive, supporting, good role models, good examples. What do you call those? Leaders. Okay. Now what do you become? A leader. That's how you rock and roll. Brock.
Hey, Brad, how you doing, man?
Dude, if I was any better, I'd be fucking donuts.
All right, well, I'll roll with that. So my question to you is, I am in a new position now, and I've...
Oh, hold on, everybody. Is this Brock Wooten from Stupar's organization?
Yeah.
Dude, whatever happened? Hold on, let me put my glasses on, son. Where you been, Junior? There he is, old Brock Wooten. I heard you don't work with Stupar no more.
No, I don't, man. It was a good opportunity. I learned a lot from him, but it was time to go. It was, unfortunately, some things happened, and we're moving past it. But
it's growth time. It's growth time.
Yeah, it's time to take the things that I learned and start putting them into my own stuff and getting some equity.
Now we're talking
not
business.
Not just working for the man. Anyways, so my strategy right now is I started a podcast. I'm in the trucking industry. I'm the VP of sales for a transportation management transportation management software company. What I'm doing is I'm inviting people who probably aren't getting invited on podcasts very often. I'm inviting them on a podcast, trying to get a little bit of exposure for them. I've only had one guest so far, but I'm trying to pivot the conversation from a podcast conversation, which is where I'm really building a solid relationship, to therefore leading it into a sales conversation. I'm curious because you have a podcast, and I know that you've done the same thing in the past. How did you start to make that twist from using your podcast to build that relationship to actually turning that into a sales conversation?
Well, again, I mean, everything to me is ultimately a sales conversation, and not because I make it one, because it is one. Like I'm selling you on something at all times. You're selling people on something at all times. You're selling yourself. You're selling your parents. You're selling your girlfriend. You're selling somebody something all the time. So you got to recognize every conversation is a sales conversation. So now the question is how do we keep it interesting? Right? Because again, it's already a sales conversation. It already is one. So when you're saying, well, when do you make it one? It is one. You don't make it one. It is one.
Yeah.
Right, so the second you get them on there, hey, welcome to frickin' Wooten Corner. My name's Brock Wooten. Today we got Daniel Feldman in our corner. Daniel Feldman's the Vice President this grocery store chain, who by the end of this podcast, by the way, will very likely be one of my next customers. Daniel, welcome to the show.
So nice to be here, folks.
Good. So Daniel Feldman, tell me, I'm going through the podcast. Now all the time I'm planting seeds. I'm going to plant seeds. And then at the very fucking end of the show, and by the way, it depends on how the conversation goes, because there might be a time where it's like, hey, I'm going to talk to him after the show. I'm going to build a little rapport, let him know that I know, take an opportunity to plant seeds again, and then I'll close him off air. Because some people they don't want to be closed on air. They feel stupid because you're closing them. And again, some people feel stupid because you're selling them, and they don't want to be sold, especially in public on the air, so everyone can laugh at them. Oh, fucking Brock Wooten closed your ass, Feldman. I watched the whole thing, dude. He worked you like a freaking $2 hooker.
Yeah. So
guess what? So guess what he'll do? He'll avoid being closed. He'll avoid being sold on your podcast. But your podcast opened the door. So now if you're a good human being, you're intelligent, you're a good, earnest young man, Daniel Feldman might literally want to do business with you, because I like that young man. He had great questions, and he listened. He honestly listened to my answers, and he made me think about my childhood, which no one's done in a long time. And we talked about everything but business. In my position, everybody hits me up all day long to buy something. This kid didn't do that at all. He was interested in me. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes that's the approach that's going to sell you more than anything. Now, why is that?
Yeah.
Well, because you freaking realize that, hey, this guy's in a position that gets hit up nonstop. Don't hit him up right in front of the podcast. You're going to be another son of a bitch that does it. Just like when you walk up to a girl at a bar, and you come up with some stupid ass line that she's heard 788 times, you just look like another douchebag dropping a line at the bar. So guess what you do?
So then,
you don't drop a line at the bar. Okay, I'm going to suggest, if you really want to pick up a girl at the bar, that you tell the truth. And I'll bet you get more success that way. Why? Because nobody does. Nobody tells the damn truth anymore. So when you walk up to a girl at a bar and you tell the truth, damn, dude, you're going to get, I'll bet you anything, a look on their face like, wow, well, that's the first time I heard that shit. Well, holy smokes. At least I can trust you. Dude, there was listen, I'm not going to get into a history of old Brad Lee and his escapades, but I can tell you that lines never worked as good as truth. So again, if you're like, well, the truth is I want to take her home and bang her. Well, then, dude, you need to go work on yourself. Okay? That shouldn't be your goal. Okay? I want to punch her in the stomach, and when she bends over, like, shut up, dude. Like that, you got to go work on yourself as a human being. Like, dude, that's not what you should want to do. Like when you see a girl, you want to think about, listen, you want to get to know her. I want to be her friend, possibly more. Why? Well, because how could you want to sexually have sexual relations with a female when you're not at all familiar with her mind? How's that possible? Brandon. Do I need to put my fucking readers on? Hold on. Yep, Brandon.
So, did you ever feel like when you were starting out, or how are you going to maintain the success? Like, were you ever worried about that as far as with the person and with the business?
Say that one more time.
Like, did you ever have a fear of being able
Ben!
to build this big business, or even the personal life, like the big house and the cars and all that? Were you ever kind of like scared, like, how am I going to maintain it? And if you were, how did you get over that?
No, I was never afraid. And again, so I can't tell you how I got over it, because I was never afraid. And neither should anybody be. Because let me ask you a question, Brandon. What happens if the worst thing happens? Dude, that can't end. You know what I'm saying? But it can't. So like when I start these, I'm getting a fresh new battery in there. They last over an hour. They last 2-3 hours. I was spitting gold. This is straight value. I know. Good thing I got 2 cameras. They say freaking cameras add 10 pounds. I'm like, shit, dude, I got like 9 cameras on me right now. Hey, but so to answer your question, I was never afraid, and you shouldn't be either, because what's the worst that can happen? Guys, write down this question. This question has caused me to make moves in my life that, looking back, were good moves. Okay, now again, I'm assuming you have a little bit of intelligence in your head and you're not doing anything dangerous or stupid, but what's the worst that can happen? That's what I kept asking myself. So if you literally think about it, let's pretend I'm living in a place, it's not very nice, I'm driving a car that's not very nice, I'm working a job that's not very nice, I'm hanging around people that aren't very nice, and I think to myself, if I go extend myself and get a nicer car in a nicer place and nicer friends and a nicer environment, and I don't make it, what could happen?
You go right back to where you were.
You go back to where you are right now. So fuck, who gives a shit if something happens? Okay? If something fucking happens, then you're fucking right where you started. Like, go get your shit. And then when you get your shit, you feel better. You look better. You think quicker. You'll work harder. You're more incentivized. You feel more deserving. Because again, like, dude, you're freaking, you're a badass. And you start to build a little confidence. Everybody that wants to say, oh, don't do that, that's a dumb idea, you could lose everything, that's called scarcity. I don't have scarcity. I have abundance. And I would literally refocus and reframe by saying, what's the worst that could happen? So when I went and got my first car, or my first nice car, it was a freaking E320. No, it was an E3. It was an E320 Sport Mercedes. And dude, I'm telling you right now, still the fucking thing's cool, even though it's 100 years old. The E320 Sport, it was badass, dude. And all I cared about is that they said yes, they will finance me. Like, I'm like, if you'll finance me, shit. Where do I sign? Worst case scenario, I can't afford the payment and fucking you'll take it back. But for the next 4 months, I'll be driving that bitch. See what I'm saying? Like, how could I have thought, no, I better not. What if I can't afford it? Well, then you'll be staying here without it. It's the same thing. I ain't got it now. So the worst thing is I end up without it again? Well, fuck, give it to me and let's see if it makes a difference. And so I went ahead and got her. And guess what? Made me work harder. Made me look better. Got me more trusted. People would look at me and be like, well, he must be successful. He's driving that thing. You know? And then houses, apartments, you know, whatever. Like, you know, like one time I remember it was on this little lake in Las Vegas right when I first moved here, dude. The rent was $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month back then, dude, is probably the equivalent of $30,000 a month right now, it feels like. Dude, $6,000 a month? Are you crazy? Like, that's my, like, there were some months that that's all I made. So it's like, dude, what do? I said, well, will they approve me on the lease? They said, yeah, they'll approve you. And I said, give me the keys, bitches. And so now I lived in a kick-ass house, was driving a kick-ass car, and freaking I felt $1 million. And I'd get up every day and I'd go out, and sure enough, dude, never lost any of it. Only went on from there. And I still do it today. Like, I'm about to get a jet. Why? Well, because fucking wouldn't it be cool if I had my own G5?
Hell yeah.
Now, again, that's stretching. And by the way, things change as you start to get more money because you'll have more to lose. And then pretty soon people start to go, wait a minute, I'm not willing to take the risk anymore. Why? Well, because, dude, there's a lot to lose, son of a bitch. There's a lot to lose now. Back before, there was nothing to lose. What was the worst that could happen? I ended up broke again. I was broke when I started. I had to go back to work. Well, fuck, I had to work before I started. Like, in other words, I had to work a job if I didn't try. So why wouldn't I try to see if I don't have to work a job? Why wouldn't I try to build my own business so I'm my own boss and I'm the success story and I'm the recipient and I'm the beneficiary rather than just stay safely under somebody else's roof? Well, because if I didn't try, I would always be under someone else's roof, which ain't bad, dude. Some people, hey, that's a good spot for you. But like not me. Why? Because I don't like being told what to do, bro. I hate being told what to do. Don't tell me what to do. That's why I don't have a personal trainer. You know, that's why it takes me forever to get in shape myself, because I won't listen to a trainer. Why? Don't tell me what to do, bro. They say get up and eat right. Fuck you. I ain't doing it just because you told me to. Well, I'm not that bad. And actually, I do listen to trainers, which is why I do get in shape, because, again, they know. But the point I'm trying to make is at the end of the day, man, you got to literally ask yourself, take the time, ask yourself, what do I want? And then whatever that answer is, okay, what's going to take for me to get there? Well, you got to ask someone who's already got there. And then they say this, this, this. Well, then you do the work. And then that's how you get what you want. Now, when you get there, Brandon, you're saying, how do you take the risk and how were you, how'd you get over it if you were scared? I wasn't scared because of that mindset. My mindset was, dude, I'm scared of not winning. And if I don't do this, I'm not going to win. If I don't buy this car, I'll never have it. So I'm going to buy the car. Now, if you say, no, you'd have it. You just wait some time. Like, delayed gratification. Dude, they've been proven that delayed gratification is effective, which means if you're one of those people that can patiently wait and bide your time. Like I know people with probably $1 million in their bank account driving a shit box. Why? Because, they're waiting patiently. Well, dude, one day they're going to make a shit ton of money and they will be right also. So there's more than one way to get rich is all I'm saying. There's more than one way to skin a cat. If you're one of those people that are afraid to spend money, that's called scarcity mindset. And I don't know anybody that has a scarcity mindset that wins ultimately. Because again, even if you have a bunch of money but you have a scarcity mindset, you're holding on to it because you're worried that someone's going to take it, someone's going to screw you out of it, you're going to lose it all. And you hold on to it and you spend your whole life. Everybody wants my money. How miserable of an existence would that be? Like I would not want to be the guy with $100 million and the whole family's trying to get it and everybody's always trying to get it and he spends his life trying to avoid being ripped off, stolen from. Now he's so afraid to be broke again when he started broke. Like, dude, why are you so afraid to be broke? And by the way, when I think about being broke, it wasn't that bad. Who's broke right now? Yeah, Ty, again, like you guys, is life that bad right now? No, it's just not as nice as you'd like, correct or not?
That's correct.
Yeah, life ain't that bad, dude. It's fun. When you end up fucking somewhere, you're going to look back and you're going to think these are the funnest times of your fucking life you're having right now.
We're getting there.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, like when they say it's not the destination, it's the journey. There's a little truth to that. But I can also tell you it is the destination, okay, in addition to the journey. Because the journey is one thing. But if you never get there, and like you die on the way, you're going to feel unfulfilled. Why? Because you set a destination. You set out to go somewhere. Now, let's get you there. How do you get there? You get excited. You create some urgency. You make some decisions. You become a big boy. You put your pants on. Okay? You get your panties off and you put your pants on. And you start freaking doing what you say you're going to do. And you start freaking being where you said you would be. And then you start understanding the very simple fact that all dollars come from relationships. So now you want more dollars, you need more relationships. And then you start to get more relationships and your network starts to build and your opportunities start to multiply. And then the next thing you know, dude, you're actually doing way better than you ever even imagined you would do. And you'll look back and you'll be like, well, what did I do? What did I do? So I can teach other people to do it. And when I look back and think, what did I do? What did I do? I went out and met people. I built relationships with people, and then I closed them. So if you learn how to build and nurture relationships and you learn how to close, dude, nothing's going to stop you. The question is, how long is it going to take you? Because if I could do it over, dude, it wouldn't have taken me till I was like 48 years old. Okay? Like I ain't been rich my whole life. Okay? So at the end of the day, and quite frankly, I mean, I don't even think I'm rich yet, personally. You know, I'll be rich when I have hundreds of millions of dollars to throw around. Right now, I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars to throw around. Shit. That's why I'm doing shit like this. If I had hundreds of millions of dollars to throw around, shit, y'all motherfuckers be watching videos of me. Okay, I wouldn't be sitting here on Tuesday, but you know, right now I'm working. What am I doing? Well, it's not making money, but yes, it is. Why? Because I'm building content. The content's building my brand. My brand will build my empire. Make sense? So again, right now, think in your head. Where do you want to be 6 months from now? Now, if you don't have a 6-month plan, I would say you're an idiot. Why? Well, because guys, 6 months is going to come whether you do anything or not. So you're going to be 6 months from now, God willing, anyway. You want to be as fat in 6 months or fatter? You want to be less fat? You want to be more healthy, less healthy, or the same health? You want to be richer or poorer or the same? Do you want to be, like, what do you want to be, man? And you start writing this shit down, and this is just 6 months from now. And then that'll tell you, okay, now again, people get unrealistic. I want to be worth $100 million in 6 months. Guys, you got to have a little bit of fucking realism. Even though that is possible, it's probably not likely. So what's likely? Well, I don't know. How much are you making now? Can you increase 20% by 6 months? If you're like, well, yeah, I think so. I know I could. Okay, well then shit, dude. 20% more than 600 grand a year is a decent little chunk of change. So again, you keep making that progress. But 6 months from now is going to be 6 months from now, whether you do something or not. So there's the hack that I always think about. Like, dude, in 6 months, do I want to be fat or do I want to be buff? And I think, well, dude, I want to be buff. Okay, well then you better start your shit now. Start eating better. Start working out. So I start eating better. I start working out. And then 6 months from now, people will be like, God damn, Brad, you're in shape. Well, because I intentionally got in shape. You might see me like in the last 6 months, I went backwards. Who saw me get lean and then got a little chunky again? Why? Well, because I started freaking, making the money, thinking differently. And my head changes. It's almost like ADD. My head changes. Like, I need to be in shape. That's the mark of success, being in shape. And then after I, make a little more money and this and that, I'm like, well, shit, dude. Who cares if they don't like me if I'm fat? Fuck them. I like cheeseburgers. I'm gonna have me some. And then I think, well, dude, do I really? And next thing you know, I'm battling with myself. And so you see me yo-yo up and down. But at the end of the day, you know what the real truth is? The real truth is in my mind, for some reason, I don't think that I'm worth being ripped. And I believe that if I was ripped, I'll die. Or something bad will happen, like no one will like me. If I get really ripped, nobody will like me. And again, this is subconscious. I don't personally believe that, but subconsciously I must believe that. Why? Because why can't I get ripped when I want to? But this time I'm going to. But you guys are like, I heard that before. Well, again, I may yo-yo again, but I'm telling you the reason is because subconsciously I think I'm going to be harmed in some way to walk around with a six-pack. Or I don't think it's fair to the rest of the world. Because can you imagine me with a fucking 8-pack, fellas? Dude, you're going to just give it up. Like, you're going to go, oh my God, like, this is not fucking fair whatsoever. Woo! And that's what I do, and I don't want to freaking hurt everybody like that. So I subconsciously remain a little chunky, so there's some faults about me, so some people can continue to freaking stand me. Because if I were flawless in every way, y'all couldn't stand me. You guys just not talk to me. You'd say, oh, he thinks he's so cool. That guy thinks he's such a freaking stud. Because literally I would be. I'd be like if the aliens came down out of the sky and said, I need the perfect human specimen, they would select me. I can't wait to see the social media clip they make from that. Hey, and what's funny too is you'll see a bunch of people hating that weren't in here and they didn't understand the context. And they'll be like, oh, this guy thinks he's so cool. And then people always say, well, how do you handle haters? I'm like, dude, I don't handle haters. I don't even think of haters. Why? Because I don't allow it in my world. Number one, I realize that, dude, listen, if you have haters, dude, they don't know you, right? All the haters that are chit-chat, they don't know me. Everybody that knows me loves me. Nobody that freaking knows me hates me. At least that I know of. There could be someone out there in the world that I forgot about or something, maybe. But I'm talking about knows me. Okay, why? Because I don't allow haters around me. If you hate on me, if you don't want me to win, if you're a secret hater, if you're a backstabbing, sneaky bitch hater, you ain't around me, so you don't know me. And if you ain't around me, you can't know me. So when I see someone make a comment on my page, I just think, dude, they don't know me. And then just, whoop, I don't even think about it. I don't care what they're saying. Brad, looks like your tits are hanging again. Brad, looks like you're freaking gaining a little weight again. Who cares? Care? And not only that, I see the same shit. I'm like, yes, I am. Ha ha! But what do? You get depressed and you start doubting yourself and you start chipping away. And it's like, no, you don't. You realize and you understand, hey, listen, there's got to be some sort of subconscious reasoning that keeps me from doing what it is I need to do and want to do. And that's why every one of you guys should go get the book, The War of Art. And go read that book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And that'll tell you that when you sense the resistance, that's the universe's or God's indication that that's what you should do. And so that's why I'm, literally realizing in the back of my mind all the things that I, like I start working out and everything's going good, and then for some reason, my arm gets hurt. No, I can't work out. Or some reason I'm traveling. I can't eat right. Damn it. I've been on vacation for a week and a half. I can't find protein anywhere. Pancakes, fuck, those are delicious. Why can't I have pancakes? What if I died tomorrow and I didn't have pancakes my whole life? That'd be stupid. Like right now, if I died and Jaime died, Jaime'd be the one fucking laughing. Why? Because he didn't give a fuck about all that exercise bullshit. He's been fucking eating pancakes and just enjoying the fuck out of his human existence. And my dumb ass has been eating fucking egg whites and shit. Like, who the fuck do you think won that game? Me or Jaime? Fucking Jaime. But if Jaime dies and I keep living for another 30 years because I ate egg whites, who won the game? Well, again, who knows? Who knows? Like, dude, I always said I'd rather fucking die young because I don't want to die ugly. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather die good looking than ugly. But now as I get older, dude, I want to die ugly. I want to die old and ugly. I just don't want to die incapable. See what I'm saying? Like, dude, listen, if ever you see me where I'm getting my ass wiped by nurses, I'm slobbering, I can't talk, I can't think, I don't recognize who you are, I don't know anything, I'm a vegetable. Honestly, and I'm not being mean to vegetables, I'm just saying, if I were ever in that condition and there was no coming out of it, you already know someone's keeping me alive out of stupidity. Why? Because, dude, my rule would be, I just want to be super old. I want to be 190 years old. As long as I can walk, I can wipe my butt. My urethra does its job and lets out the urine. All the things that you're capable of doing at, 40, 50 years old, I want to be capable of doing all throughout my life. Right? Even though that's not necessarily what I hear happens. Like the old man told me the other day, because I always talk to old people just to see what I'm in for. And some old guy the other day says, at around 70, he stopped being able to pee. And I said, what? He said at 70 his prostate swole up and clamped off the flow of urine. And I'm like, well, what do you do? He said, you got to go into a urologist and get a freaking catheter up your dick hole, right? Which doesn't feel good, by the way, according to him. A nurse does it, so that's a plus. But other than that, no, it's not a pleasurable thing. So I'm thinking to myself, dude, is there going to be a day where I can't pee? Because that's when you want to start thinking about killing me. Like, I want to be able to pee. I want to be able to fucking wipe my own ass. I want to be able to freaking not be a burden on people. I don't want people having to care for me in that regard. Other than that, dude, I want to live till I'm 250 years old. I'll be this old. I'll be the oldest human on earth. I'll have fucking I'll be like Brad Lee used to be good looking 118 years ago. And I ain't been good looking for 118 years. That's fine with me. And by the way, you know how much money you're going to need to live that long? And with medicine now, you might live that long. They say that there's someone alive today that will live to be 300. With the medical advancements, the stem cells, all the things, you might be able to live a lot longer than you think. So guess what, folks? You better get busy, because that takes a lot of money. That takes a lot of money to live 200, 300 years. All right, folks. Hope I answered everybody's questions. There's no more hands up. We'll see you next week. The whole, pressure, high pressure hammer sales shit is dead. Nobody likes it. You got the internet. They got more information than you probably do. You know what they want? They want freaking someone that knows the industry. They want someone that they can trust and like.